Hey everybody, this is the Columbia Silver Creek 10-person cabin tent. It's brand new on the market. I tend to do a lot of research on products before I buy them, but this one I happened to be in Cabela's the other day. I was actually looking at some other tents and I saw this one, tried to look up some reviews on it, couldn't find anything. But I decided to buy it anyway. It just looked like a really solid tent, and looked like it had everything I was looking for in a family tent. And so I went out on a limb and picked it up. And since I haven't found any reviews on it at all, I thought I would do a quick tour of the tent so that everybody could see what it looks like. This tent is it's a 15 by 10, and so it's a pretty large tent. It's got 2 rooms, 3 doors, 3 windows. It actually has 3 awnings, 3 separate awnings that you can set up. You can see I've got 2 of them out right now. There's this kind of the side awning. It's basically the tent door. But you can open it up to create an awning. Then you've got this main awning, which is pretty cool. It's actually framed together with these shock poles, and so it's pretty sturdy. I don't have it guyed out right now because I don't have enough room in my yard to do it, but just set it up so that you could see what it looked like. One of the cool things about this tent is that of course you can pull down this awning on this side, and I'll show you what that looks like on the other side. So here's the third door, and this is the door closed, zipped shut, nice and watertight. This door, or awning I should say, it's also a door, and I'll kind of show you how that works as well. You can pull these poles out, and that actually shuts. And so if you're expecting a big storm coming in, you can take the poles down and your guy lines and close that, and it doesn't just shut. Actually, there's a zipper on it. You can actually zip it down on both sides. There's a zipper on this side as well. And so you can completely seal this tent off, which is pretty nice. But you still have the luxury of having that awning very easily accessible by unzipping it, setting it back up, and away you go. The materials on this tent are pretty good quality. It's the fly and the tent walls are both made of 150D polyester with a 1200 millimeter polyurethane coating for water resistance. So pretty good specs on that. One of the other cool features on this is it has these TPU windows, which you can roll them up and you can zip them closed. Roll them up. I'm sorry. You can unzip them, roll them up, and then you've got the screen here for the interior windows, so you can still get nice airflow through the tent. But if it is raining, I'll show you on the other side here. You can have them closed and zippered, and you can still see out. You can still get natural light in. You can see how they zip open and close. There's some additional Velcro on there to keep that edge down, keep it watertight. So that's kind of a cool feature. It also has, on both sides of the sleeping quarters in the back here, it's got these vents on the bottom, which is, you see that a lot more intense these days. So there's one on this side, and then there's one on the other side, so you get airflow right through the bottom of the tent. And one of the things I'm very impressed with on this tent is the airflow itself. And we'll see a little bit more of that when we go inside. Just massive airflow, which is something I'm always looking for, especially in a family tent where you've got kids inside that are hot and sweaty and can't sleep. So having as much airflow as possible is a great thing. Let's walk around. Let me reopen this. And so here's the front door looking inside. The one thing that I wanted to continue to point out is the tent seems to be made of pretty high quality material. One of the reasons that or one of the things I was most impressed with when I actually got this tent set up, even the zippers are, they're pretty sturdy. Pretty nice solid zippers. Inside, very roomy. It is a 2-room tent, so you can see across the top I have the divider rolled up, but this divider does come down, and it actually has 2 layers. So you can have a mesh wall you can close this door or this wall and just have it a screened wall for continued airflow, or you can have a full tent material wall, opaque wall. Tent also has decent storage pockets. There's 3 pockets on this side of the wall. There's 2 pockets in the sleeping quarters, and then there's 3 more pockets on this wall. Also has a electrical port, so you can run a cord, extension cord in here and have power inside the tent. The sleeping quarters have 3 different windows, one on each wall here. So that's looking out with that TPU window rolled up, and the window right now is open. I've got it rolled up. The same as this side. I've got the window open, and obviously there's no TPU window on the back side of the tent, so you can't actually see out of it with the rain fly on. However, it does offer, again, more airflow. You can see that there's space between the fly and the tent itself, so continues to bring in airflow. There's a view out through the tent, the mesh window, and the TPU window, so you can, it's a pretty clear view outside, not too bad. And of course, for privacy at night, you can roll those windows and zip them back up. One of the things that I wanted to show you for airflow, a little hard to see on the camera here, this is the ceiling of the tent. Right now on this side, I've got these opened up, but the entire tent ceiling opens up. There's 3 panels on this side, and they all unzip, and there's a mesh screen there, and even more airflow, as air can flow up through the sides of the rainfly, between the rainfly and the tent, and come through the ceiling. Also releases heat a little better, helps with condensation. On this side you can see that I don't actually have these unzipped, so they're closed at the moment, but you can kind of see those 3 panels are zipped up. I think that's a pretty cool feature for the tent. You can have as much or as little airflow as you want. One other thing to point out is the floor of the tent. I said that the walls in the rainfly are 150D polyester with a 1200 millimeter polyurethane coating. The floor is also a 150D, but it's a polyester Oxford blend, which is a little bit softer. And they claim that it's not as noisy to walk around on. Seems to be less noisy. I've got it set up on grass right now, so it's the grass on the bottom of it is a little bit loud, but it does seem to be a little softer. But this is a 3000 millimeter polyurethane coating on it, so it's got much more water resistance. So if we come back outside, one more thing I wanted to point out on this is the bag. Again, pretty decent material, fairly thick material. The pole bag and the stake bag are both made out of the same material as the flooring, so it's pretty nice. And then the bottom of this bag has a zipper around the bottom of it, and that way you can open it up and the bag will actually expand out, because, well, I'm assuming that putting the tent back in is not going to be as easy as when I took it out as a brand new tent. So they put that extra little feature on there to make it a little easier to get the tent back in the bag, which is pretty nice. The only downsides on this tent are probably the stakes. As with most tents, the stakes are, got one right here, it's just your typical kind of flimsy tent stake. I'll probably upgrade to more heavy duty stake on it. The other thing about this tent is since it has, thicker materials, it is quite heavy. It's 50 pounds. So it's obviously not a tent I'm going to be taking out in the field anywhere. But, just pulling it out of the back of my truck and putting it on the campsite is about as far as I'm going to travel with it. So the weight is not that big of a deal, especially where the trade-off is the quality materials that it's made out of. So those are, I think that's pretty much it. Again, great tent. Love it so far. Great first impression, and I can't wait to take it out and go camping with my family.